Hello guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here and welcome back to an all new Firebase Z video. So earlier today, Treyarch released our first gameplay preview of the map, and I will leave a link to it down in this video's description. It's around a 4-minute video and they just talk about the map. They don't really tell us too much, but you know, they give us enough information to be excited as we are very close to the release now. Now, I'm not going to be doing a full breakdown of the gameplay because it's pretty straightforward, but there are a few different things that I want to point out and make note of. The first thing is that near the end, Craig Houston says this.
When we started this Dark Ether story, it was kind of daunting in some ways because, you know, a lot of us have been working on zombies since the beginning, and that's where the excitement, particularly with this fresh start and the Dark Ether story, has been kind of reinvigorating for the team. I don't think I've ever felt as excited about post-launch seasons of content as I do this year. I think people are probably, when they get to the end of this, they're going to look back at what we've done and go, I did not see that coming.
So yeah, he is very confident in the post-launch content for Cold War Zombies, and this gives me hope that this might be a very good year. Specifically, he said, at the end, we will look back and say, I did not see this coming, which means that they are going to shock us. Now, I really do hope that this isn't overhyping the DLC content, because the Zombies community is hard to please, and sometimes when they say, you know, ambiguous stuff like this, vague statements like this, it leads community expectations to get too high, and then the expectations are never met, and I think that is a big issue. I have an issue with this all the time too. Every time Treyarch releases a statement, it leads the Zombies community to overestimate what on earth is coming. But at the same time, I am very pleased that he seems very confident in what we are going to see, and it gives me hope that this is going to be a very good year. Firebase Z looks absolutely amazing, so I think this is going to be a very good start. The developers did also say that the map's game design is distinctively different from Die Maschine, and he said that the gameplay strategies that you might have used on Die Maschine won't really work as well on this map, which means that this map is going to play and feel very different to Die Maschine, which I'm happy about. It seems like Die Maschine is, you know, that easy map for all of those new Warzone players to jump into and for the casual fan base to grow and to introduce new players to the franchise, whereas this map seems like it's going to be a more intermediate map where it's going to be a lot more difficult than Die Maschine. I think it will anyways. But they did give us gameplay of the new boss zombie, the Mimic, and we can see how it turns and hides as props and will spring on you and surprise you. And yeah, that guy's going to be a very strategic boss where he'll just sneak up on you, and it's less of an in-your-face boss, and it will also grapple you with its tentacles on its back and drag you towards it, similar to the Panzer Soldat. They did also show gameplay of these collection units. So these are these Dark Ether chambers, and I think we're probably going to have to charge up each of them to probably turn on the power and unlock the Pack-a-Punch. I believe there's 3 of them on the map, so I'm assuming that is how we unlock the Pack-a-Punch. However, there's a new feature on Firebase Z called Assault Waves, where zombies will start just raiding you and raiding the map. They will spawn in from these Dark Ether poles and start rushing towards you. It's basically like the lockdown within the bunker on Gorod Krovi where you would Pack-a-Punch. It's kind of like that. I don't know how often these defense rounds actually happen. In the gameplay, they were on round 12, so they'll probably happen around every 10 rounds or so, I'm assuming. I'm not really sure, but basically, these Dark Ether poles will start spawning in, and you basically have to just defend the base, and you have to defend these Dark Ether chambers. So it seems like it's kind of like Origins with the generators. It seems like this will be less annoying, though. It seems very fun, and it's very war-esque as well. That is what I really like about these defense rounds. It just seems like you're being absolutely raided. It's kind of like a tower defense type thing. I guess it is also possible that these assault rounds won't start on a random round, and they will instead have to be activated by you. It does say objectives started, and maybe you can activate these assault rounds yourself and then you get a reward for completing them, which would make the map more difficult. However, it is optional, and for those better players, you can get better rewards and start progressing a lot faster by having this bit of a challenge. I wonder also if the Elder Gods that we see in the trailer only spawn spawn in on these assault rounds, because it would be a bit hectic if they spawned in on the regular version of the map when we also have the Mimic boss and we also have the Russian Manglers. That would be a lot of bosses at once, so I'm wondering if these only spawn in during those rounds. There are also 2 new kill streaks that you can get with salvage, which are the Napalm Strike and also the Artillery. And yeah, you can just buy them from the crafting table. The Artillery is cheaper than the bow, so you know, it's going to be pretty cheap, but it seems like the Napalm Strike is going to be the most useful for these defense rounds. Essentially, it will work just like the Dragon Strike on Gorod Krovi or the G Strike on Origins. You'll place a marker down, all the zombies will, you know, go towards it, and then the planes will come in and drop the Napalm Strike on them, just obliterating them in flames. And that seems like a lot of fun. Another thing I want to point out is they said that the map design is kind of like Moon, where you spawn in the village and then have to make your way to the main map, Outpost 25, via the teleport. However, it doesn't appear like the village works like No Man's Land. Also, the Pack-a-Punch is located in the village. So I am right about this. I thought this was the location of Pack-a-Punch in the trailer, and it is. So you can find the Pack-a-Punch in this room, the atrium, right by Captain Ravenov. So he has his little office room looking at the computer screens right by the Pack-a-Punch, and he'll talk to you and interact with you during the Easter egg and stuff like that. And yeah, this map looks very fun. This is only a sneak preview, so there's a lot more surprises in store. Also, something else is that it appears as though the Pack-a-Punch camo is the same as Die Maschine. Now, it is very possible that this gameplay in this little preview was recorded ages ago. I really do hope that we do see a new Pack-a-Punch camo. You know, it does change up things a little bit, but yeah, I wouldn't be too bothered if there is not a new Pack-a-Punch camo. It's not the worst thing in the world. It is a little bit frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. And also, we obviously have the Russian Manglers returning from Gorod Krovi. It does seem like this map is very similar to Gorod Krovi. They seem pretty strong though. I don't remember them being that strong on Gorod Krovi. Hopefully there is a way to take them out easier, because obviously we had the Mangler helmet, for example, on Gorod Krovi, which helped with taking them out. So hopefully we could see something similar to the helmet system on this map as well. This map definitely has a lot of Gorod Krovi vibes, definitely some Moon vibes as well, because they obviously have the jump pads, and you spawn in the village and then teleport to Outpost 25. But that is pretty much everything important from the gameplay that I can notice, at least. There's a lot of other stuff that they do talk about, but I just picked, you know, the top 5 key details that they mentioned. But there is something else that I want to bring up. Treyarch did post some new teasers over on their social media channels. Specifically, they said only one can win, and then we have an image of Omega, and the Russian text translates to "We were the first, we will be the last." And then the second image is obviously of a Requiem. So we have the Russians versus the Americans, obviously, in the Cold War. I guess this is the Cold War that the public never saw, because, you know, they're hiding up all of these dark ether anomalies, and the public doesn't know about these zombie outbreaks. So I guess this is kind of like an undercover story of the Cold War that we never knew about. But I'm wondering if this is a teaser for Grief returning to Cold War Zombies. People have been wanting Grief ever since it was introduced into Black Ops 2. A mode where you face off against each other, and we haven't really had a mode like that since then. And I think that it would be perfect to introduce Grief into this game, because you could have Omega versus Requiem. Also, Firebase Z would be the perfect opportunity to introduce Grief, because you could have one team spawn in the village, one team spawn in Outpost 25, and yeah, I think this game is perfect for Grief to return. So I wonder if this is a teaser for Grief. I feel like at some point in time they're definitely going to introduce a mode where it is Omega versus Requiem. I'm surprised they haven't done it already, to be honest, because all the way back in the day in Black Ops 3, I remember Jason Blundell did an interview and he said he would only introduce Grief if it made sense storyline wise. He did say they were working on Grief, but they couldn't really get the gameplay right, and as I was saying, the storyline wasn't right. Whereas now the storyline is right for them to introduce Grief. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be called Grief anymore. They could give it a new name, but sort of like an evolution of Grief, where it's basically Grief but a much improved mode. Anyway, so you think Grief could potentially be returning? That would be a very big surprise. Maybe not as soon as Firebase Z releases, obviously, because they would have announced it by now, but maybe it's something we could see in Season 2 or something like that. Another thing that I want to mention is that the pre-download for the 1.11 update for Black Ops Cold War has gone live early on PS4, and it is around 9 GB in size. At the time I'm recording this video, it isn't live on PS5 or Xbox yet, as far as I am aware. However, it will be going live soon, which means you'll be able to pre-download it if your internet is slow. It is rumored that it will go live on PC tomorrow as well. I really hope not, because then people might start data mining Firebase Z. Now, after you have downloaded the install, it won't be able to be installed until until the update officially goes live at 11 PM Pacific time on February the 3rd, which is 2 AM Eastern time on February the 4th, which is 7 AM UK time on February the 4th. So yeah, this is just a pre-download, but this contains Firebase Z and all of the information for it. It will obviously be larger on Xbox Series X and PS5 and also PC, but hopefully it goes live soon so we can begin to download it. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.